I'm Jai-Lynn Rodriguez. This is Jay's All Insight. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Coach Calvin Ford. How are you doing today, Coach Calvin?
I am doing marvelous. Finally get to see you again. I remember my first interview.
Yes, sir. It's been a minute, but I'm glad I get to speak to you again and kind of share your story.
Okay, not a problem. Ask away. Let's go.
I want to start from the beginning. What did your childhood look like growing up, and what was it like in the community that you were in?
My childhood was kind of different. Um, I was came from a single family home. My father passed away when I was 5 years old, so I didn't really get to know my father. But I had a lot of great things about him and whatnot because he was in the Air Force, flew planes. He taught at Morgan State College, so he was very smart and whatnot, but I didn't get a chance to meet this great man of mine as my father and whatnot. Came up with my sisters and my one brother, but he didn't stay there too much with us because he had a little bit of autism that they call it today.
Mhm.
And back then they didn't call it autism then. Um, and then one thing my mother did, I lived in Baltimore all my life. My mother didn't want me to stay here, so she sent me down to Newport News, Virginia, where she was actually from. And that was very exciting because I had a chance to see another side of life than Baltimore City.
So, at what age did she send you to Virginia? At what point was that?
I used to go to Virginia all the time. When I really started recognizing when I was at Virginia and stuff, it was like 10, 11, 12. But every
Okay.
summer, she used to always send me away. You know what I'm saying? So I would stay in the city for the summer. And now as growing up and getting older and whatnot, I see why she done it.
Mhm.
It was an opportunity just to be away out of the city to see, uh, I call it the country life. My grandmother, my brother, he was a honor roll student. He ran track for Hampton University. He was like a superstar running track,
Mhm.
whatnot. So I used to look forward to going to Newport News just to be around my brother and my cousins and aunts and all that, to really see. Because in Baltimore, I didn't really have family there because I didn't know no one on my father's side. So all my mother family was in Newport News, Virginia. But when I went there, I had a chance to see that I did have family. But I grown to have street family as I got older, and they treated me just like I was family.
During those early years, were there any pivotal experiences or key moments that shaped you to who you are today and then later on as a coach?
No, I just took it as life, being away. I look at my life, things that I done and did in my life that made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like someone asked me a long time ago, Cal, do you regret anything in your life? I said, no, because I wouldn't be who I am there. Like I just told you, I went to Virginia, so that gave me another side. I had my cousin Marvin, he was from Baltimore. Um, I had this chance to be around him and his family so I could see the dad life and his father being his life. But him and his mother and his dad wasn't married, but he did came to spend time with him. You know what I'm saying? So I seen stuff like that a family still can work without a dad being in the house. You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
all this life experience stuff that I went through, it helped build me to understand certain things that it can work if the individual or the people around you wanted to make the work. So when I sit back and look at life, like I'm satisfied. I can't change. I don't want to change anything, how my life was. I don't regret anything. I'm thankful for being here right at this moment because it's things that happened in my life that I wasn't supposed to be sitting here and where I'm at right now. So I'm grateful.
Yes, that's honestly awesome to hear your story and your past and what you've gone through and where you are today. It's big and it's an inspiration to a lot of people that especially grow up in Baltimore, an area you were in, and getting to see how you evolved as a man.
Right. That's that because no, I always make the statement, no one give us a manual how to be a man unless he has someone around him like an uncle, a brother, or a dad or something in his life that can actually guide him through the life of the living. Now, as you listen to when I'm talking to you, I had street family. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my family. That's why I call them street family. But they was instrumental in my life of preparing me for what I went through in life, and looking at youth coming up today, it's a little different, but I can relate to them and I can understand what they're going through, what they're going to go through, how to deal with certain situations, to try to give them some insight on how to deal with certain situations.
What drew you to boxing? Was there like a particular moment or an influence that sparked your interest in the sport?
No, well, actually, I had co-defendants from my previous life that was in boxing already. I was the only one that wasn't in boxing. I was into kickboxing and karate. I had a friend named Warren Boydley and another friend named Reggie Gross. Warren Boydley was a boxer before he went to his life of what he was doing. He tried to make Olympic run. He didn't do the Olympic run. Then he started doing whatever he's decided to do with the rest of his life. But who really made me get into boxing was Reggie Gross. He used to watch me work out when we was locked up together. And he said, man, you should box. I said, Reggie, you know what, how I'm going to be when I get out of this situation? And he started laughing. And then when I came home to get my life back on track, my nephew and my son, I had bought my first house. They was in the basement and I had put a bag up and they was hitting the bag and I had a cousin named Clifton. He used to box. I said, yo, you taught them anything? He said, no. Nah. And I said, yo, I gotta get them to the gym. And the rest was history.
So you said you were into kickboxing, and
Hmm.
how long were you doing that before actually getting into
Oh
boxing?
man, I was doing that ever since I was little. I was real good with my feet. Like I was explaining to Warren, I can kick your head off if I had to. You get what I'm saying? I was real good with my feet. So, I did that half of my childhood life was karate and kickboxing. But then I got into the street. I started diverting from training to being a kickboxer and just in the streets and whatnot. So, when I sit back and look at life, that's why I don't regret it. It evolved me to who I'm at, where I'm at today, and who I am today.
Did it help you when you became a coach because you already had the fundamentals of footwork and is
No,
it
no, 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 no. I
completely
wouldn't. I wouldn't say kickboxing done it. It was my when I went to jail. I had this coach. I can't remember his name, and I always used to say this every time I do an interview. He was from the Dominican Republic. He really got me deeply into boxing when I was locked up. So as I was locked up and I kept hearing like, yo, you should fight. You can fight. You know what I'm saying? You keep hearing it, keep hearing it, keep hearing it. And I even heard it when I was kickboxing. But life situations diverted me from doing what I was doing. So when I got back with my son and my nephew, it brought me back on track. And I've been coaching people in life for a long time. Um, Even when I was incarcerated and stuff, looking at situations, being in certain situations, dealing with people. It taught me how to interject with people, how to talk to people. So I took all them avenues and put them all together, and just made it work. And when I came home, and I had friends were saying, "Yo, what I'm doing today, I didn't even know." I talked to people about what I was going to do before I came home. You know, and they sit there and say, "Man, I remember when we was locked up. You was talking about, yo, I'm gonna go home, do this," and they seen it came to existence. I said, "Man, I ain't even remember that." So when my documentary come out, we did interviews with these people that talked about their experience with me in certain situations before this even happened.
That's awesome. Now I have to ask about your famous reading glasses.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
you become pretty well known for them. So how did that
yes.
become a staple for you?
Me and my brother, Coach Mack, he was one of the coaches that first started off with me, right? I had a pair of glasses. You know how people set their glasses down and lose them. So I did the old grandma thing. Back in the days, grandmas used to wear their glasses. You get what I'm saying? So I had this thing that I said to them. I said, "Y'all, I'm gonna make my glasses famous." They said, "Oh, you tripping?" So before there was the glasses, I used to wear me an earpiece in my ear all the time. You know what I'm saying? And one day I was at a fight at Showtime. They said, "Yo, why you always wear that?" wear the earpiece. And I haven't had a chance to demonstrate why I use the earpiece all the time. But when I had the glasses, it just became my trademark. It just became my trademark because every time they see me with my glasses and stuff on. So the chain and the glasses came my trademark, and then the brand that I wear all the time is a designer. I only buy that particular design. I think I bought one designer glasses, and that was my Louis Vuittons. But other than that, I stick to this brand that I always wear. Um, and when they make glasses, they only make a select few of the glasses. So if it's a pair of glasses that they only made 500 or 150 of them, I only buy them glasses and whatnot. And everybody be looking at my glasses, they be like, "Man, you be wearing them glasses." So that's my trademark.
How many glasses do you think you actually have?
Girl, if I told you, it's crazy, because I'm a fan of glasses and Jack. I think her name is Jackowit. The design, that's how she designed them, because the materials that she used and the storyline of each pair of glasses that they produce. They give you a card with the glasses, how they produce it, with inspiration that they had from the glasses and whatnot. And when people see the brand that I'm wearing and they notice the brand, they look at it and say, "Oh, that's such brand right there." Too many people don't know about it. Like, you see people wear Cartiers, this and that. So I try to be simple. I try to keep it simple.
Now I want to go on to when your career started. How did you get involved in coaching Gervonta? And what was it about him that stood out as a young fighter?
Well, how I start training Javante is his uncle brought him to the gym because he kept getting in fights and stuff. And then my son Kader really used to always talk about. I had another kid named Ramon Manny, was my first national champion, and he used to like to play with them guns. God rest his soul. Um, and he used to watch me train Ramon all the time. Ramon was a national champion. He used to compete against kids. I call them from Region H. They're from California. There was another kid named Victor, and them years I built up rivals between DC and California. And Ramon was one of my first kids that I won a national champion with. And he was very excited. And on that amateur level, that's why I love the amateur so much, because it really cultivates my style of training and let me understand how to develop a kid from scratch.
And you got to do that with Tank, you'd say.
Tank,
You
yeah, I
got him
got to
at a
do that
very
with
young
Tank.
age, right?
Yes, I did. Well, majority of my kids that I do have in my gym is at a very young age. But the difference between Tank, he caught me when I came home from the penitentiary. He caught me when I was making my transition back into society. And I caught him when he was chasing his dreams and his goal of what he wanted to do. Because I remember when he ran to me one day and said, "Coach, I seen myself." I said, "What you see yourself doing?" He said, "I seen myself walking down the aisle with all the belts." You know what I'm saying? He said this when he was like 11 years old. And I told him, I said, I got you now. You stuck. Can't go nowhere. You get what I'm saying? And through life situations, he stuck it out. He really stuck it out. He had a lot of death around him. He's seen a lot of things, and I used to make statements like this. I say, Tank is 40 years old in the ring. He's young, but he's 40 years old as far as his IQ, as far as the ring and whatnot, because the type of guys that he grew up was around, that was with me coming up. And he watched them disappear one by one, to either through the streets, jail, or 6 feet under. So I think that's the drive that I think drive Tank, because of the simple fact that I always used to tell them we can't let their name go in vain, because they was trying to do the same thing that he's doing now with his life, and he pushed it.
hmm And you see a lot of these boys grow into men. And with that comes a lot of distractions. As someone who's with them all the time, how do you help them stay consistent and also disciplined?
Well, I'm a very I would say I'm spiritual grounded in different uh how I would say philosophy of religion. And one of the main thing I say when bad stuff happens to an individual, it's really not bad because it's a statement in the Bible when God said first it was darkness. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be the bad part. But then when you shine light on it, everything is good. So when people go through bad stuff, I don't look at it as bad in my eyesight. I try to find the good into it to see why did it happen and why did it came about. You know what I'm saying? Or what caused it to get the goodness out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you go through trauma and certain like that, it builds you. It changes your life. It makes you more stronger to prepare you what's going to happen down the line.
Looking back on your coaching journey, especially seeing Tank's success, what has been the most rewarding part for you?
The most rewarding part for me is him. It's him, period. I don't, sometimes we call him the one, sometimes we call him him, but how he able to look at situations and make it work, and that came from the teachings and things that we had stored in him, that he's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And he took and showed that he's amazing, you know. I'm just hoping to see the rest of his journey or what type of amazing things that he have next coming out the horizon.
And at this stage in your career, how do you balance the responsibilities of coaching, and being a mentor to these young fighters in Baltimore?
Well, I understand this is my cross. This is my journey. I just treat it like work. Every day to survive, you have to go out and provide. So I treat this situation as work. I'm working every day, in every situation, every cause is to uplift the people, uplift a youth, to give them something to think about. In the words of Tupac, if I can stimulate a mind, I did something great.
For the young athletes, aspiring coaches that look up to you, what advice do you have to give to them about dedication and work ethic and just staying on the grind and not giving up?
Well, I'm them that coach. You hear me talk about the amateur coaches. This day and time, we're seeing a lot of dads spending time with their sons, trying to make them boxers and living through their kids. My words to them is just take it as it go and see where it falls at, because of the simple fact that child has a dream too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, we have parents try to live through our kids, but we have to really find out what do they really want to do. You know what I'm saying? And push what they really want to do because that's what they want to do. For coaches and stuff, man, just keep continue being a great coach because all y'all got the greatness. And when you can take a kid and keep him in the gym and keep him coming back to the gym, already I tip my hat to the coaches.
And I want to go on to Tank's upcoming fight that was just announced yesterday. Um,
Mm.
but before that, Tank versus Lomachenko was a fight that had a lot of fight fans excited. How close was that fight, to being
It
made?
was close. It was close. You know what I'm saying? It was close. It was close. He decided to not fight Tank for whatever reasons. It would have been a fight for the culture again. Lomachenko, he did something fantastic. He came from a losing bracket and back. That's why he's where he's at. I admire him a lot, but time is against him. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, and it's that's me personally, I can't get into a fighter's head, or athlete's head. I can't get into his head. He have his reasons why he decided to opt out for that fight right then and there. Would that opportunity come back again? Don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because um, again, Tank is not going to wait on an individual to do certain things. All these guys are calling Tank out and whatnot, right? But Tank understand it's a time frame on this to do other things in life. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is with that is sometimes in life you get to a point that do you want to do it? I watched Mike when he did, say he didn't have that fire no more. You know what I'm saying? And it happens. So when it gets to a point, maybe Romachenko said to himself that he want to sit down and look at the world a little bit more differently, and before he decided to get back in the ring. It is what it is. We don't know what goes on through people's mind, But I know it would have been an epic situation. But the fight at hand, Tank and Roach got a history with each other. I believe Roach is going to keep him honest. Roach and him have a history. Um, Roach is going to come and put on his best, like he did in the past with Tank every time he stood in the ring with Tank, you know. So I'm looking forward to it because me looking at that fight, it's not an easy fight. You know what I'm saying? Um, we're not looking past him. It's a situation where Tank is, I call Tank the blessing there because he's blessing young men to get them in position to really get their name out there. You know, Roach is a champion, but do people really know him? So this is really going to elevate his career. I see him doing interviews. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and I admire that.
Yes, and there was rumors about notable opponents that were mentioned
Mhm.
before. Lamont Roach did
Yeah,
sign
it
his
was, it
contract.
was. Yeah, but again, situations again. Some people overprice themselves. Some people feel as though, and I get it. That's the business side. But again, opportunities only last a moment.
Since it is Lamont Roach and Tank Davis in Houston, Texas at Toyota Center, what can the fight fans of H-Town expect from that fight?
Oh man, tune in because, like I said again, Roach is going to keep Tank honest. They have a history. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. When you got a kid, he had tasted being a champion. Now he's in a situation of fighting one of the best fighters in the world, one of the notarized fighter in the world. He can make it turn into something. And that's the thing that I have to make sure that Tank understand that that he's a serious, worthy a champion that's willing to take the fight. He ain't back down. Man, give me that fight. So I got to salute him.
Did they ever spar in the past? Like, what was the history between
They
the
spar. They have a history. They spar. They fought in the Silver Glove. They fought in the regionals, and they fought in the amateur. I mean, in the nationals. Stay tuned. Stay tuned until the face off when I know everything is good. I always say the contract is signed when both fighters meet up together.
or if and when victorious, what fights excite you for 2025?
It's whatever Tank want to do, whatever he do. My job now is to prepare him physically and mentally. You know what I'm saying? And just listen to what do he want and how he want to achieve the goal.
And for you as a coach, what's your next goal?
I'm looking for the next Tank. When Tank sit there, hang his gloves up, you get what I'm saying? Who can we bring out the mud? You get what I'm saying? To really simplify the work that we really do.
You work with a lot of kids. Is there any that you do see being the next Tank?
It's hard to say because I don't get into that. One thing as me as a coach, they got to go through that life experience. You know what I'm saying? And that can derail you from being who you can potentially be.
And right now you're just focused on, working with Tank, his next fight.
Work with Tank because that's the order. That's the order that's up on my plate, man. Is getting Tank ready for this next fight. We just had a show in DC, our first show outside of Baltimore, and we're doing things to uplift GTD. You know what I'm saying? So my job is to just keep enlightening people, raising people, and help them reach their full potentials.